Hi there. Good morning. I'm trying to think, where am I at right now? I'm in San Antonio, Texas, and I spent the day yesterday. We're at Padre Island, which is right near Corpus Christi. And I have a really interesting story for you, and then we're going to talk with Jesus for a bit. I have no idea what he wants to say, but I just know that he wants to talk. I can feel him bubbling. So, I have been feeling for like the last, 6 months, maybe longer, that I would go visit a location on the ocean coast, and it would be right outside of Portland. So I assumed it would be Oregon. And so for the last few months, I've been like, oh my gosh, I really need to get to Oregon. I was getting really impatient. And I just went to Padre Island, and come to find out, in Corpus Christi area, and there's a Portland, Texas. So I went to the ocean right outside of Portland. I received all of this healing. I feel amazing. It was exactly how the whispers from Spirit were coming in. It was just a completely different state. So I wanted to share that because guidance is amazing. Always trust your intuition. But the patience is important, because I was pushing to try to go to Oregon, and it wasn't the correct state. I assumed Portland, Oregon, and it was Portland, Texas that I needed to go and visit to heal. And another very interesting thing in the area is that I was drawn to Corpus Christi, which is only a few miles from Portland, and it's right on the ocean. And I was experiencing, and I still am, but a lot, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. I hurt my back. I was being a bit too pushy with myself and trying to pave the way forward instead of allowing the path to unfold in a very gentle, flowing manner. I was pushing, and I ended up hurting my back. And I heard Spirit tell me that, go to Corpus Christi, you'll experience a lot of healing, physically, emotionally, spiritually. It's just what you need. The ocean air lifted me up, and my body feels so much better. And then as I was looking at the history of Corpus Christi, and it actually means the body of Christ. So I thought that was pretty amazing as well, that my body needed healing. The city is called the body of Christ, and Jesus Christ has the one that's been guiding me to go there. So the synchronicity, the gifts, the blessings are amazing if we're watching, so trust your intuition. And Jesus is ready to come forward now. I'm just going to have a little sip of tea here and see what he has to say. Eventually, I'd like to get to the point when Spirit's speaking through me, when I'm talking to a person, I like to look into their eyes, and it's very easy to gaze into someone's eyes and just transmute Spirit and share Spirit, share Jesus, share, just share. And for whatever reason, I'm having a difficult time, staring at a wall or staring at a computer and going into that same gaze, because there's no one looking back at me. I see myself on the computer. I see, I have this light. I see the light, and it's really bright to look into. So for now, I'm going to close my eyes because staring at the wall just isn't a good time for me. And it doesn't keep me in a trance-like state. It kind of brings me out because it agitates me. So I'm going to keep my eyes closed. I want to share, Jesus is asking me to share this really quick from my perspective, and that is, so this series that we're working on, I don't know exactly what that is yet. We're just kind of sharing conversations and building from there, and he just wants openness for that to just happen intuitively, spontaneously, and so that's what we're doing here. As far as having a relationship with Jesus, he is like a very dear friend to me, and I want to clarify, I'm not a religious person. I am not a religious person at all. I read the Bible as a child, out of curiosity. It never resonated with me. I think I picked it up at like 12 or 13 and tried to read it every night before bed because I love reading before bed, and it didn't click. Nothing made sense to me in it. It caused confusion, actually, and I kept trying to force myself to read it, but it just never resonated. And I went to catechism once a week, pretty much my whole childhood. My family went to church every Sunday as a child growing up. I even went to Bible school in the summer. These are all things that my mother enrolled me in and wanted me to be a part of. And it's interesting because all of that time I have spent studying Catholicism, I can't tell you much about it other than the judgment, the ridicule, and there's pain in my heart. I felt like a bad person, like I was looking up to some sort of authority figure and being criticized in some way. I was taught by nuns. I don't know. I share that because that was my experience with religion. And I'm not saying that religion is bad. You know, it's if it's your cup of tea, it's your cup of tea. I'm just saying it's not my cup of tea. It's not my cup of tea. It doesn't feel authentic to me. It feels like, and Jesus is like, yes, now speak your truth, Danielle. Speak how you really feel. It doesn't feel authentic to me. It feels like there is a lot of ego and control in there. There's a lot of agenda. It isn't truth. It isn't source. It isn't Jesus's essence. It isn't the message. It was completely twisted in order to control the masses and manipulate a certain outcome. This is something Jesus taught me a couple years ago when I was in Spain doing the Camino. He was teaching me that the kings and queens at the time, the royalty, and the churches, they partnered up because the churches needed the funding to run the churches, and the royal families liked the prestige of the church. There was just a dynamic of two energies of power, but the church found that they needed a source of revenue income for maintaining the churches, maintaining the communities, to have a place to congregate. The royal families were the only people that could do that, and in order to give the money to the churches, the royal families had agendas to control the people. So they were like, control the people for us, and we'll give you money. And so that's how it happened. That's how the Bible came about. There were authentic versions of writings that happened, but those were dismantled and burned, is what Jesus is saying. And the version of the Bible that we know today, he's saying, has very little truth in it. Ooh, there's a little part of me that's a little nervous to say this stuff because it's a little controversial, but it is so true, and I've been feeling it for a while, and I've, never spoken up about it, so I'll share that stuff. He's saying there's nothing good in the Bible, because there is. It's just very tainted, the content. He's making a comparison. Say you have your favorite grilled cheese sandwich. Say you have your favorite meal, and it's been sitting out for 5 days and it got moldy. So there's something good there. It just got coated in stuff, and you really probably don't want to ingest that because it will cause harm. Wow, he's saying the Bible will cause harm. That's a pretty powerful statement as well. Okay, my internal, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to have attachment to that. He's saying that that's what's truth. To interact with the Bible in a way that you engage with your heart and your truth. If there's anything about that Bible that you are reading that makes you feel bad about yourself, that is not God. That is not source. That is not Jesus. You are intended to only feel loved. So the Bible is a tool to use, but check in with yourself and check in with your how your heart feels, so that you are always feeling good about yourself. Because when there's a message that you read in there that causes internal conflict where you don't feel good about yourself, that's when you know that someone's ego came into play in writing it. And then the authentic messages, will make your heart sing. So just be aware of the two. He's not saying that it's a bad tool. It's a great tool. It's a very mainstream tool. It's a tool that a lot of people use. Just be aware that it's important to stay in your heart while reading those messages, and it's important to not judge others based on what is in that book, because it's centered in a lot of ego. The best experience I can share with this is when I have conversations with folks that are just we're just in different places in our lives and we don't really understand each other, but you can still have really great conversations with them and really great morsels of connection and awesomeness that come through. And I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I had that conversation with that person, even though we were so different. The Bible is very similar. There's little morsels that'll come through that can really be life-changing and really lift you up and be incredible. So, you know, if the Bible speaks to you, that ancient text speaks to you, by all means, connect with it. Just be aware of your internal wisdom and what is heart-centered and loving and lifts you up and what is not. That's all he's saying. There's a lot of truth there, and it's important to have the awareness. Wow, I can't believe I said that. I've been holding that one in for a long time. I really got to know Jesus pretty well. See, this is funny because the last time I recorded a video, he just spoke directly, and today we're kind of having a conversation back and forth. I don't know, I'm feeling a little playful, and so is he, so we're just having a conversation back and forth. The first time I met Jesus, I believe I was when I was starting to do energy work, and I started out doing energy work with Reiki, and just kind of evolved my own modalities and methods since then over the course of a few years. And the first time I met him, he only showed me his feet, and I knew it was him because he showed me his sandaled feet. Like, he was always in sandals, these very ancient medieval sandals. And that's how I always knew it was Jesus, that he was with me, because he would be standing right next to me and I would see his sandaled feet. And I'll never forget, on the Camino in 2016, he revealed his whole self to me, and I saw all of him. And he confirmed, you know, yes, I'm Jesus. And we had some really great conversations, and he taught me, you know, so much about his life and how he healed people and his perspectives, and how the information that is shared today is inaccurate, and how he's just an average person like us. And it's really fun to talk to him because he's like, I'm just an average person. I just had a big heart, and I wasn't afraid to share that heart, share that love, and share my God connection, and share, you know, the source, the light within me. And so it's really cool to talk to him because it's like talking to a really great friend, a really great heart-centered friend. And he has so much advice about life on this planet and what it was like, and comfort, just so much comfort, and I enjoy that. I have experience connecting and transmuting source energy, so like pure source energy, the energy of all. I connect and transmute that a lot. I have transmuted the archangels quite a bit and shared their messages. But Jesus is amazingly different because his energy is more grounded because he has had an experience on earth. And so the messages are easily translatable. It's literally like talking to a person, whereas when I talk to angels, it's like, oh, you know, and the vibration really, really rises. And with Jesus, I mean, his vibration is high, but it's literally just like, hey, my friend is sitting on the sofa next to me, and let's talk. Let me share with you everything that I learned and everything that I'm continuing to learn, and we'll go from there. He really likes the word hogwash. And I'm like, well, that's not a very, like, I'm kind of stereotyping him because I'm like, that's not a very, like, Jesus holy word. And he's like, well, I'm a person. Like, I was a person. He's like, I'm not in human form now, but I was a person. And I still really enjoy connecting with humans, and some of the language and some of the experiences I really just find humorous. And hogwash, the word hogwash, he finds so funny, because when he was alive, the pigs, whenever they were like, they were always dirty, like the mud. He's talking about like the mud and the humor of like washing the pig off, and how muddy that water would be and how gross it would be and filthy. And he's just like, hogwash. He's like, I really like the humor of that word because I have so much experience with pigs. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not even sure what the point of that is. He's just being funny and goofy, and it's awesome. It's awesome to see his humorous side, and like the lightness, and that everything isn't serious. Even love, even the high vibration of love and this journey can become so serious, and it's very entertaining, and it makes my heart like feel really playful to interact with his play and his silliness. I don't know, maybe that was all we were gonna say. Is that all we were gonna say? He's like, yeah, that's good, that's a good intro, that's a good start. I just asked him, what will we title this video? And he's like, Love from Jesus's Heart. And I was like, well, I didn't transmute you. It was kind of me talking. He's like, that's okay. It's still my essence. You're still having a conversation and sharing with me. So just go with that. Okay. I really am enjoying working with him, and not just completely surrendering and not really worrying about anything, because there's not a lot of opportunity to get into my head. It's just kind of like, I don't know, just completely allowing him to guide me and not resisting and trusting, you know? Good stuff right there. So, yeah. So that was a little conversation with Jesus. I hope you're having a great day. Love and blessings. Jesus says we'll talk to you soon, and we'll keep this going, because this is great. You know, a morning chat with a hot cup of tea. I can do that. All right. Bye-bye, everyone. Much love to you.